Welcome to episode 127 of Hustle and Pro. I'm your host, Kelly Walker. Our guest today is FC Dallas defender Nkosi Tafari. Did I say your name close to correct?
Yeah, no, definitely better than 94% of population probably. So.
Oh, I'll take it. A plus. Okay, I'll take it. Well, for those of our listeners who don't know your name yet, you are a defender for FC Dallas. And just so you know, these are some of my favorite interviews. I think you're my 8th FC Dallas player. So you're in good company. Reggie, Edwin, Eddie, Ryan, Tanner. I'm going blank now on some of the others, but I love talking to you guys, and I'm a longtime FC Dallas fan also. So that helps make it fun. So thank you. Welcome. And thanks for taking time to talk to me today.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
So I want to just sort of start with where we are right now in your career. We're recording this in early October and in the middle of this season. But you came to FC Dallas, let's see, January 2020, I think was when you got drafted in the MLS Super Draft. You were with NTSC for 6 or so games, right? And then we started seeing you here first team in Frisco. And the way I see it is there were, all these pieces of the back line were moved with Reggie leaving. And then early in this season with an injury with Matt Hedges, and some things just sort of shifted and changed, and we started seeing you more and more. So tell me from your perspective, how did this play out for you to get to this point?
Yeah, it all came together very quickly, but I more or less saw it coming together. Actually, you could have some of the staff members and a few guys on the team. I kept I was injured maybe 3 separate occasions actually in preseason, to where I just wasn't playing. And I was just like, yeah, just wait till June. Like June is going to be the start of my progression. I'm just waiting until June at this point. Because I knew like in May, we only had 1 game a week at this point. The first 6 games were 1 game a week. And I knew once we started getting into maybe 2 games a week, a hectic, more busier schedule, that things would probably start to change, rotations would happen. So I was like, all right, I'll just wait till June for my progression. So then this was maybe like late March, early April. Still, I'm just like, yeah, I'll wait till June. Like I'll go through April, May. And I'll get there. It's just like I can't be rushing him back from my injury. And then it probably was the team had an away game to Colorado at the end of May, to where we were about to go on our long international break. We're about 3 weeks that we're actually in right now. Matt walks in next day on crutches. I think in the locker room, I'm like, wow, that's interesting. That came out of nowhere, because he played the last game and didn't get hurt or nothing.
There wasn't a noticeable injury that happened on the field. Yeah,
playing, it wasn't talked about, and I watched the game, didn't see anything, so I was like, okay. And then this is also at the same time that Brisson had been sent back to Brazil to get his green card. So the only 2 back at the club were me and Jose. So it was just us 2. But this is the start of June, and Brisson's visa was supposed to be processed maybe around the 7th. They were supposed to start doing it then. But it's a long process. So he actually ends up coming back he flies home on the 18th, flies home from home back to Texas.
Yeah.
On the 18th, we have our game on the 19th, and then Matt's still out and Brisson's out. So me and Jose are the only 2 center backs. And I wasn't sure, probably until maybe the Thursday before the Saturday game is when I knew. But the 3 weeks going up into that, started getting a feel of mentally, well, there's no one else here,
right?
So I should certainly prepare myself more so than usual. Maybe they play a guy out of position, but it's seemingly like I'm here. And then I made that first game, and then a few days later started again against LAFC. And I actually wasn't supposed to start that 3rd game against the Revolution when we came back home, because we were going back to a 4-back system, and I was just the next man up. But then Jose got a hamstring injury a day before the game, and I didn't know until maybe 6, and the game started at 7 that I was starting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was just in the locker room, regular routine, just a non-starter.
You thought you were an 18 man. You thought you were on the sub list?
Yeah, but certainly as a center back, I'm more reserved. I know I'm not about to get subbed in unless somebody gets hurt. It's I'm here for precaution. Last 10 minutes, maybe if we're winning, but defenders hardly are getting subbed in games. But then they told me an hour before the game that Jose got hurt. I had to start. And I was like, okay, this is fine. And then we actually ended up winning that game. And then progressively got the next maybe 6 or 7 due to injuries between Jose and Matt, because they were still recovering.
Yeah. But sometimes that's how your spot opens up and you just take advantage if you can. And you did. You've played really well, really solid back there. What's your goal as far as your minutes going forward, or what are your expectations for the rest of, not much left of the season, but the rest of the season?
Yeah, whatever's rest of the season, my minutes, not even. I just want to put the team in the best case possible to succeed. We're in a position right now where whatever is best has to be done. I don't necessarily know what that is, but if that's me playing or me not playing, whatever is best still has to be done. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. So if I have to be on the bench for that, that's okay. I certainly played my fair share, I guess if that's okay to say. But yeah, I would love to play, and I'd love to have an impact on the turning around of the season, fighting for a playoff spot. However, whatever is indeed best will fall into place.
So let me ask you, since you did play a few games with NTSC, was it weird playing in a baseball stadium converted to a soccer field?
It wasn't too bad because they at least they have the soccer field set up. The one field I was looking forward to playing into, but we actually didn't because of like a schedule change, was NYCFC Stadium. Because that's like full baseball stadium. The width is almost, I think, 60 wide when it's supposed to be like 80. So I would have been like, yeah, how is this? It would have factored into being a really weird. But the Arlington one is just look up into the stands. It looks funky looking with
Right.
how the things. But the
The wrong
field
shape.
does play. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's one of my favorite ballparks. I'm a baseball girl, so I love that old
Okay,
ballpark.
cool,
Yeah.
cool. Wow.
It's so weird when they said they were converting it, but I like that NTSC got their own space because we were sharing before, and then they were always playing after first
Yeah,
team,
it
and
wasn't.
it was hard for them, I'm sure. So I'm curious, you played college soccer, right? You were at UConn a little and Seattle University.
Yes.
So, do you find yourself and that experience and with your age, do you find yourself like gelling more with the guys who also had that kind of experience, like Minjoma and Ryan and maybe Brandon, or the the guys that are the homegrowns that don't really leave this Frisco system and that are just running right through and they're teenagers and playing all the way through our system here?
Yeah. Interesting. I'd say because I'm a people person, I like getting to know everyone, and I even was almost maybe a little bit more biased to some of the guys who are foreign because I love to know more about cultures and places I've never been to. So Jose is from Spain, Brissan's from Brazil, and we got guys from Venezuela, Colombia. So I talk to them, and like Facundo's from Argentina, and he's my locker buddy. So I talk to him all the time about Argentina. He's always asking me about like New York. But yeah, he sits right next to me. So and we made our debut same day. We both kind of were. I think once I starting like the week before June 19th, maybe like June 10th was when he first got here, and then he was training from then. But he was like, so me and him kind of like been new-ish at the same time. So I talked to him a lot about just different cultures and stuff because he really likes New York. But then a lot, yeah, with Brandon because he did a bit of a college. I played against Eddie for like 3 out of my 5 years in college because he was SMU guy. We
Yeah.
would always clash each other at that conference. And Nicky Hernandez, another guy, because he was an SMU dude. So we would talk about it in different games and things that we had. But yeah, all the college guys have there's a different type of a bond there. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. Just, I mean, like you said, you've faced them before and you've been opponents and you've lived that sort of experience together. And then that whole nother international player experience and world that are sharing the locker room with you too. So yeah, I do. I bet that's a fun way to, explore other parts of the world and other cultures with guys that you get to spend a lot of time with. Tell me a little bit about why when you first got here, we knew you as last name Burgess. And now we don't so much. Now we have a different name on the number 14 jersey. We have Tafari. So can you tell us a little bit about that in your own words?
Yeah, it was essentially just the name in which I was given. My whole name was given to me entirely. So going throughout life and my progression just into adulthood, I became more aware of the name and its background and lineage. Um, and it was something that like it is my name. I'm not opposed to my last name. It's more so if I have any attachment to it, it's because of my father, and it's like I feel it's more his last name and our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but outside of that, I'm not really attached to it in any way, shape, or form. But certainly when I'm on the field and I want to be playing as the person who I am, and I've built everything that you're seeing is I've done it myself, which is the thing that I love. And it hasn't been really built off the backs of others. So I was like, if I'm going to be playing this game, then I can at least choose a name that was actually given to me.
Yeah.
So then I felt I could use my first name and put it on the back of my jersey, but like my middle name hadn't been used before. Even in middle school, high school, nobody really knew my middle name. I didn't tell people my middle name. It just kind of sat there as the T. And then I was like, it was like, yeah, I'll use it. It'll look cool in the back of the jersey. So then I ended up going with it just for a sense of stability and knowing that it's like, yeah, if I'm going to be building this career, I can certainly do it off the name in which I want to choose. And since I haven't played a game yet, this is perfect time to implement it.
Yeah, I think it's cool. And I've never heard of Nkosi before, but I read that it's in the national anthem of South Africa and it means ruler or king.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And then so Tafari that you go by, you say it derives from Ethiopia, meaning he who inspires awe. And in the Caribbean, people say tough R-I, which that's when I first heard you say that. I will like every time I see you step out there, that's what I think of. Tough R-I. You know, it's Tafari, Tafari, but like,
Yeah.
or it looks like Tafari, but I say like in my mind, tough R-I. Yeah, it has to give you some sense of pride, right? And confidence. And because you are your unique self and you chose to put that name on your jersey, I'm guessing that you feel that every time you're wearing it.
Yeah, it's something that I mean, same as the number. I wouldn't have wanted a number that perhaps I couldn't have chosen. But yeah, just like yourself, I hear the tough RI in my head, whatever it said, but mainly just like in my mom's voice all the time because she would say it all the time growing up. She's like, "This is the name I gave you. Like you need it." So it was always I always hear that in my head for sure.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So speaking of growing up, were you always a soccer kid or did you play other sports?
Played other sports, but mainly just to stay active because my parents were always working. So I was like, I'd rather, I don't know, I can be out doing stuff. They wanted me out doing stuff, so I would do any kind of after school sport. It got to the point where I was playing. Uh, I did one in like every season, so I did soccer, basketball, lacrosse, and track. Just cause I was like, I'm bored. My senior year, I did track, but mainly soccer. My dad, he played basketball, but my brother also played soccer. Um, so it was just, yeah, mainly I only really played outside of school, only soccer.
Outside of school. Yeah. But for school, you were track basketball and lacrosse for school.
Yeah, it was middle.
You were in the Northeast. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do that. They don't do that down here, out here.
Not really. Not for school. All
Oh,
our costs like in Frisco area, high school kids that play lacrosse play like more at a city level, but
uh,
zoned by their school, but not like it's not an on campus.
uh,
Uh-uh.
okay.
Not yet. We're not there yet.
Yeah, okay.
We're still focused on lots of soccer kids around here mostly.
Oh yeah, football. Football seems to be
And football.
yeah.
Yes. Can't forget we're definitely in football land. So then growing up in Manhattan, did you have dreams and goals to play for a New York team?
Yeah, growing up in New York, I would have loved uh, to like play for NYCFC. And even when I was younger, they didn't actually exist.
Right.
So it was like Metro Stars. I was just like a big Metro Stars fan. I loved the jerseys, kind of the whole thing they had going on. They kind of changed Red Bull. But I didn't love the idea of Red Bull because it's like just off in New Jersey. So it's like, yeah, it's New York Red Bulls, but the location isn't entirely in the city. Like I was born in the city. My dad lives in the city. My mom lives on Long Island. But I love cities. When I was in Seattle, I was like, dude, I love cities. Like just, so when my friend playing for NYCFC and I was like watching them actively and I'm maybe sophomore, junior year of college, I was like, this would be ideal. Continue my progression, go through the draft, end up here, like sign a contract and then be in my own city. That would be lovely. So yeah, it would have been great, but there's only one team out there, very few spots. It's like a one in how many to end up. Like yeah, it has to work out specifically.
Do they have a system like we do where we pull so many homegrowns into our academy and up their systems that did you take advantage of that at all?
My parents never knew what academy really was. That's no stab at them. They were doing other stuff, but they didn't know academy. And on Long Island, there wasn't actually any real academy soccer that was attached to an MLS club. There was like, I don't even know. You know the name Albertson, if I were to throw that out there? Like PDA, teams like these.
No.
Yeah, there were not, there was only Red Bull Academy, and they were maybe about 2 hour drive away from where I was. And most times, yeah, they couldn't really even drive me 20
No,
minutes.
and that's not easy. And I mean, you hear stories of families that do figure out how to make that work, and it amazes me when Edwin Cerrillo got his contract with FC Dallas. He and I are from the same small town south of here in Texas, and I was just astounded hearing like that his family said, okay, you're like 14, go 2 hours up north, find somebody to live with, see if you can make this happen.
Yeah.
And they just take that huge leap. And that's a big risk. And obviously it pays off when it works out. And for him, it worked out. But yeah, not every family can even be aware that those options are out there for you.
Yeah.
Or make that a reality. So you went straight from high school to UConn?
Yeah.
And how long were you there?
I was there from, I can give you exact dates, July 12th, 2015 to May 10th, 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know exactly when.
Yeah.
Time for a question completely out of the blue.
How many people have you saved their life from choking in the mall?
Just the one, honestly, which is still a large number.
That's crazy, right?
No.
That's crazy. Was that just like a year ago? I feel like it wasn't that long ago that I
Yeah,
heard
no, it
this
was
story
like
come across.
last year,
Yeah.
March, April, somewhere around then. Summer. It was definitely summer, so maybe more June. But yeah, it was last year. My first year in Texas, like my first 6 months.
Yeah. You get here and you're hanging out at the food court in the mall and you see a lady, obviously struggling and choking, and you just step in and did you give her the Heimlich? And
Oh yeah, yeah. Gave her the Heimlich. Good old memory from 7th grade still working, I guess. But
you locked it in there and went to
yeah.
went to action.
But
That's
yeah,
crazy.
It was very wild. Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw this story where she came to the stadium and thanked you and everything. That's funny.
Yeah, yeah. It was good seeing her again. We still keep in touch too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. Hopefully you converted her into a soccer fan. She comes and watches FC Dallas play. And then I want to talk about the thing that sort of stands out. So besides when you're on the field things, but things that stand out as you guys come into the stadium and, just your personality in life is your fashion sense and how unique you are. Right. Are you tired of everybody talking to you about this because you're like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal?
To me, it's like, I don't know. I feel like people might overplay it. I feel like I'm doing anything crazy yet. Soon, probably, yeah, I'll start doing some things that are probably just crazy, my standpoint. And then what other people might look at it as like, wow, this is totally outlandish. But right now, I feel like I'm playing it safe.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy. It's colorful, and I don't know. You put different things together that everybody else doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's just brighter sometimes, or bolder, or I don't know, differently matched and
definitely out there
set up. But it's not like you're wearing. It's not like
yeah.
crazy things that aren't real fashion or anything. Have you been like that your whole life, or is that something you've come into lately?
I've been in the mindset of like not trying to rewear certain items. Ever since, even when I was younger and I had minimal items, it was actually a lot easier to keep track of it than it is now, oddly enough. But when I was younger and I didn't have many clothing, I was like, all right, at least like let me not wear the same, and then try and mix and match different things, see what you can do. But I love dressing up, doing cosplay. So it's like game days are like little mini Halloweens where I can just kind of, because outside of that, certainly in a COVID world, I don't go out. I go to the stadium, I come home, and it's like, oh, okay, well, is it game day yet? No, all right, then I got training again, go to the stadium, come home. And that's a lot of the cyclic styles of lives now. So when I get to go to the stadium, it's like, oh, love to dress up.
Everyday life, your clothes are training clothes and you're hanging out in your place and you don't need to get dressed up. Yeah, you got your red carpet moment for home games. So yeah, well, it's entertaining. We like it. So keep it up. We always look forward to see what you're wearing when you show up to the stadium. And thank you for, first of all, taking the time. I don't know if today was a training day or not, but I appreciate you saying yes when I asked for you. So adding you to my list of fun FC Dallas player interviews. And like I said, I'm a longtime season ticket holder and fan also. So I'm always out there and rooting you guys on. And my kids also love watching you, not only because of when you're back there playing, but you're creative and fun to watch. And when you were hurt, we also have seen you around the stadium and they've talked to you and said hi to you. And you're very kind to the fans and nice. So thank you for that also.
Of course.
All right. So good luck with the rest of your season. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Yeah.
And thank you for listening to this episode of Hustle and Pro. Do me a favor and review and rate our podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. We'll see you next time.